Welcome to this video tutorial on the reporting schedule in JEMS. This tutorial will cover how the reporting schedule works that you can find under the contract monitoring section. For more details, please also look at our user manual where also details are described. There are some practicalities that are easier to be described in a tutorial. That's why this tutorial. So what will be covered in this video, how the reporting schedule works and how it can be changed, who can use the reporting schedule, and what kind of effects it has on the project report. What will not be covered in this video is reopening of the project reports and the report type, because this will be covered in the reopening video tutorial. So what are the basic principles? The entire section can be found on the contracting and is optional, so it can also be fully left blank. And then project reports can also still be created. The deadlines apply only to project reports. Programs can use it either bottom up or top down. So they can also have the lead partner do a proposal and then have the program revise it, or have the program user complete it and have the lead partner have few rights. Then new deadlines can always be added. There are no restrictions of the number of deadlines per period, so multiple deadlines can be created per period. And one should link the reporting deadline to the period that the deadline is in. So it should be the end period of the deadline in case their report covers multiple periods. So do not see the period here as reporting period, but as the delivery period of the report. Once the reporting schedule is used, of course, it is mandatory to link a report to a deadline. But let's see how all this works in JEMS. And yeah, let's have a look. So as you can see, I'm now in JEMS in a project, and this is the reporting schedule. So this project has just been approved. You can see this here that it's approved. So let me set it to contracted. I will then first show you project reports, how they function without the reporting schedule. So on the reporting schedule, you will see by default the project start date, project end date, and duration, and also the project plan, which is the same as section C6. So if I go to the project report, I can create a project report. Of course, this would be the lead partner doing this. And what you can see is that on the create page, the lead partner can just choose the start date at any moment and an end date of the reporting period. So this is the period the report will cover. As you see, there are no deadlines available. So this is default no deadlines. And that means that the lead partner can decide upon creation which type of report it will be, and also just link it to any reporting period available for that project. So you can say, I'm doing for period 1, a full report, or only a finance, or only a content. And then he can also indicate at what date this report will be delivered. Based on your pre-submission checks, you can actually set then also rules to that report, saying that the report has to be submitted on that date, for example, and that it cannot be submitted after anymore. This is then a full report. As I indicated, this type of reports can also be switched here. So you can switch it also to finance, and as you see, then some content data tabs will disappear. That also means that the data that is filled in there is lost. So we would not advise you to just switch those reports while you are drafting it and completely filling it in. As a content report, you see the financial tabs are disappearing, and with full, you see everything. So that is how the project report would work without a reporting schedule. And it basically means that you can choose anything you want freely in the report. There is also a privilege to be set on the create page. On the create report button, you can choose to allow, for example, only the program user to create partner reports, to prevent, in regards to reopening, to force that there's only one report at a time, so that you can also always fully reopen the project report. But more on that in the video tutorial on reopening. So let me delete this report and then create a reporting schedule. So the reporting schedule, I can maybe quickly show it to you in the privileges. So if I go to the system privileges, I'm now the admin, you can see that for both the applicant user as well as for the monitor user, you can decide who has the rights on the reporting schedule. So you could set it to view for the program user and to edit for the lead partner, for example, or the other way around. And that way you could work basically bottom up and top down, as I stated. So if I now create a reporting deadline, I can choose to create several. So I can have a both one and maybe 3 deadlines. So I could say one on period 1, another one on period 2, another one on period 3. And then I have to also say what delivery date it is. So let me put some delivery dates and you can save them. As you will see, they will show up and you can then basically in the scheme, in the time plan, quite nicely see that this report for period 1 covers only period 1. If I would, for example, remove this deadline, visually it also shows that basically the deadline for period 2 would cover the time from 0 till period 2. So this is what was meant with putting this period on the delivery date of the report. So that way you understand that if there's the first report in period 2, that most likely it will cover the reporting schedule time, which is then also filled in the report from period 1 to up to period 2, and that it will be delivered in period 2. So these reporting schedules, as I already showed just now, can be deleted at any time if there's no report linked. So that will also be shown here. So if later on I choose to link a project report to this deadline, then the delete button will disappear because the deadline is basically already used by a report. So this is important to know. You can also say that there is full reports and then maybe in period 5, there's only a content report. Maybe it's a milestone report. So we could even put that here, milestone report. And lastly, there's maybe also a final closure finance report. So you could set deadlines as such. So now you also see they have different symbols. And if you hover over them, you can also see the deadline date. So you can see this is a content report, this is a both report, and this is a finance report. So let me create a project report now. Now we have some deadlines. And now you will be able to see that I cannot choose no deadline. I have to choose one of those 4 deadlines I created. And if I then choose, for example, the last deadline, you can see that there is only a finance report with the data pre-filled. If I choose the first one, that was a full report, this both report with the deadline and period 2. So as such, I can create a content report and that data is pre-filled and cannot be changed because it has to comply. So as soon as there's one deadline, it has to comply with whatever is in the reporting schedule. Keep in mind that also contract pages can be locked by the program user. So you can always say that if the lead partner has access, that you lock the page and then the schedule cannot be changed anymore. So now I linked the first report to, well, let's do it to the first deadline. So you can also see now that it changes and that it's a full report. And then you can see here also back in the schedule that now the delete button is deactivated and that there's a report linked. So you can no longer delete this deadline. I've in the meantime submitted this report. And as you can see, when the report is submitted, also the fields cannot be changed anymore. So if a draft report is linked to a reporting schedule, you can no longer delete, but you can still make changes to the type of report and the deadline. As soon as the report is submitted, you can no longer change the period and the date, and the entire reporting schedule is locked. So this was the tutorial on the reporting schedule. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to reach us through the help desk. And for more details, please also read the user manual.